October was a huge month for India. We saw some pretty seismic shifts, from the way we spend our money all the way to, believe it or not, the birth of virtual pop stars. So we're going to connect the dots on the biggest moves in India's economy, policy, and tech. Let's get right into it. But first, let me ask you a question. How are you going to pay for things tomorrow? Seems like a simple enough question, right? Well, the answer is getting incredibly complex. And trust me, it involves a whole lot more than just pointing your phone's camera at a QR code. And that leads us perfectly to our first major headline. For the first time ever in India, you can now get credit on UPI that's backed by your own digital gold. Yep, you heard that right. Axis Bank and FreeCharge just rolled this out, and it is an absolute game changer for digital payments. So, how are we going to break all this down? Simple. We've got 4 key areas we're diving into. First up, we'll see how money gets a major upgrade. Then, we'll get into India Inc.'s power plays. After that, we'll check out the government's self-reliance push. And, finally, we'll wrap it all up with the tech takeover. Sound good? Let's do it. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Money Gets a Major Upgrade. Seriously, the way banking and payments are evolving right now, it's happening at lightning speed. So, you might be wondering, how does this whole gold-backed UPI credit thing actually work? Well, it's surprisingly straightforward. Step 1, you just pledge your digital gold right there in the FreeCharge app. Step 2, boom, you instantly get a credit line from Axis Bank. Step 3, you link that credit line to your UPI. And that's it. You can now pay anyone, anywhere, just like a normal transaction. It's a really slick way to unlock the value of an asset you already own. Okay, but the big question is, how much credit can you actually get? Well, that all comes down to something called the loan-to-value ratio, or LTV. For this specific product, it's set at 75%. So what does that mean in simple terms? For every 1 lakh rupees of gold you have, you get a credit line of 75,000 rupees. Super clear, super simple. And hey, it's not just about cool new products. The actual rules of the game are changing too. The RBI just made a really important tweak to how loan interest rates work. Here's the deal. Before, banks were stuck. They couldn't change a key part of your loan rate, called the spread, for 3 whole years. This meant that even if the RBI cut rates to help the economy, you wouldn't see that benefit in your EMI for a long, long time. But now, that 3-year restriction is gone. That means faster EMI relief when rates drop. This is a huge win for anyone with a loan. Okay, moving on to our second section, India Inc.'s power plays. Now we're going to look at the massive deals, the incredible wealth, and the big trends shaping the corporate world right now. And you really can't talk about corporate India without starting at the very top. Topping the rich list once again is Mukesh Ambani with a net worth of, get this, 9.55 lakh crore rupees. I mean, that's a number so huge, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. And right behind him, in the number 2 spot, is Gautam Adani with a net worth of 8.14 lakh crore rupees. Just think about that. Those 2 figures alone paint a really clear picture of the immense scale of wealth concentrated at the top of India Inc. But you know, this year's list had a major milestone. For the first time ever, Roshni Nadar, who's India's wealthiest woman, has entered the top 3. This is a really significant shift, and it tells you something new about the dynamics at the very, very top. And this growth, it's not just happening at the individual level. Key financial institutions are also hitting record highs. Let's take SBI, for example. That's the bank that supports small and medium industries. Their profits shot up by almost 20% to an all-time high. What does that tell us? It signals a really strong financial backbone for the very businesses that are the engine of our economy. We're also seeing this really powerful theme emerge: corporate self-reliance. Check this out. Tata is teaming up with Airbus to build India's first ever private helicopter assembly line. Think about that. Meanwhile, Bajaj Finserv is going all in, taking 100% ownership of its insurance ventures by buying out its foreign partner, Alliance. See, these aren't just everyday business deals. They are strategic moves to build critical capabilities right here at home. And this corporate push for self-reliance, it's happening hand in hand with some major government efforts. Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, the government's self-reliance push. We're talking about the key initiatives for Atmanirbhar Bharat. A fantastic example of this is the new mission for becoming self-sufficient in pulses. You know, we're talking about staples like tur, urad, and masoor, the stuff we eat every day. The goal is simple: grow more of what we eat, right here in India.
And they're putting serious money behind it, over 11,000 crore rupees. It's not just about money, though. The plan uses tech, like the Sathi portal, to get the best quality seeds into the hands of farmers. It's a very modern, tech-driven approach to food security.
And this self-reliance push extends from our farms all the way to our defense. The Indian Air Force is now partnering up with IIT Ropar. Now, why is this a big deal? Because they're going to co-develop brand new technologies and tools. This directly boosts India's ability to create its own defense tech. It's all about homegrown solutions for national security. You know, this spirit of Made in India is even showing up in our wildlife. In some really wonderful news, a cheetah cub named Mookie, who was born right here in India, has successfully made it to adulthood. This is a first, and it's just a huge, heartwarming milestone for the country's conservation efforts. Okay, so we've gone from finance to farming to conservation. Now for our final section, we're jumping straight into the future. It's time for the tech takeover. We're talking about AI, virtual worlds, and the technologies that are literally reshaping our reality. And first up, this is a big one. A massive collaboration is underway to build India's largest AI hub. And look at the partners involved. It's a trifecta of absolute powerhouses: Google, Adani Enterprise, and Bharti Airtel. These three giants are teaming up to build the country's biggest AI infrastructure. The implications of this, well, they're enormous for pretty much every industry you can think of. And AI is getting seriously creative. I want you to meet Secret Mountain. What is it? It's a virtual AI band, powered by these incredibly realistic digital characters called meta-human avatars. And no, this isn't science fiction. This is a real project happening right now, backed by some of the biggest names in media and tech. So who's actually making this happen? Well, it's this really unique mix of players. You've got media giants like Netflix India, industry bodies like Fitchi, and top-tier academic institutions like IICT Mumbai. And the tech behind it all? The whole thing is powered by Google Cloud's super advanced AI. We're talking the same tech behind their Gemini models. They are literally building pop stars from code. And speaking of tech giants making big moves, OpenAI is jumping into a whole new ring. They've just launched their very own AI-powered web browser. It's called ChatGPT Atlas. And make no mistake, this is being positioned as a direct challenger to Google Chrome, which could really, really shake up the browser market as we know it. So let's step back for a second and connect all these dots. What's the big picture here? What we're seeing is a nation going through a massive, rapid transformation, and it's being driven by three huge forces all at once: deep digitalization, a very strategic push for self-reliance, and the super fast adoption of artificial intelligence. And that really brings us to the final crucial question. As all these forces come together, you've got the digital payments, the homegrown manufacturing, the AI-driven innovation. Are we actually looking at the new blueprint for India's future? A future that is digital, self-reliant, and AI-powered. It's a fascinating thought, because that's a future being built as we speak. Thanks for joining.